All right, welcome everyone. Tellor Community Call, October 27th, 2020, Halloween episode. So anyway, thanks everyone for joining. So big news, obviously over the past week, we had a successful upgrade of Tellor using a decentralized voting system. It's pretty cool. Um, so for those of you guys that didn't see, the vote finalized Saturday, and then we actually finished with there were 54 votes total, but these 54 votes were like the biggest Teller accounts. It represented 18% of the total supply of Teller voted in the contract, which is really amazing. If you look at other protocols, that's far above and beyond kind of what most people expect, and we have to thank all of you guys for pushing out the vote, kind of getting the news to people. So thank you guys very much. It was really good because we actually needed to cross the 10% threshold for the vote to even go through. If we didn't get to 10%, like we would have had to crawl back to you guys a week later and asking, to really get some pieces done. But we learned a lot kind of in the voting process, just about ways that we can tell you guys about how to vote, create some better tooling around it. It was a great experience. And then what happened is we finalized the votes on Saturday, and then we upgraded the contracts. Shout out to JG. JG, one of our developers, he developed a transition contract, which worked really smoothly, so the miners didn't really have any hiccups. Yeah, it worked great. Sunday we updated and we're mining blocks now successfully on v2.5. The big changes, so now rewards are time-based, which is a big deal. And then other things, the staking amount went from 1,000 tokens down to 500 tokens. So a lot of miners kind of now can increase the number of staked nodes they have, or they have a little bit less financial risk in case of a dispute, which was a big deal for us. Anyway, it was really exciting. It was sort of, if you're just a holder or a developer or even a miner, it may have just been a non-event because you might not have noticed anything changed over the weekend, which as a developer, that's like the best kind of upgrade you can possibly do. Whenever nobody notices that anything went wrong, things just got better. So yeah, that was kind of the big thing. We're really happy about that. We're going to be we already put out a Medium article kind of summarizing it. And then we're actually putting together some just statistics on the votes and things like that. And we'll release some graphs to you guys later this week. Other things. So if you guys saw this, Tellor v2.5 was actually the first TIP, so Tellor Improvement Proposal. If you look in our GitHub, we made a new method for just creating big changes to Tellor in general. The v2.5 upgrade, if other things we're going to be pushing out, adding new data points to the miner, other changes. It's very similar. There's like, we basically just copied it from like the Ethereum improvement proposal, or basically every project has an improvement proposal methodology. So now we have one as well. So we feel like we're a real Ethereum project now. So you guys can go and look at those. We'll be finalizing the v2.5 one, and then if you have any other proposals you want to make, this is kind of the place for discussion. So, and some of you have noticed, we've also sent out a survey. In addition to asking you guys to vote, we also are asking you guys to go do a survey. This is mainly a survey for anyone who actually wants to use Tellor or is a miner, but holders are also welcome to kind of go vote in this as well. People in the community, it's just a developer priority survey. So what do you guys think we should be working on? Do you think that UX tools are more important? Do you think we need to put more work into the miner? Should we be focusing on vertical products? We've gotten a lot of really helpful and interesting answers so far. Just would love to know, to make sure that if we identify a large gaping hole that we're not addressing, we kind of go after it. So There is a survey. I'll post the survey in the video link, and then it's also floating around out there. We're going to probably retweet it later this week if we haven't already. And then we'll post it in kind of the Discord and things and finalize that up and post the results next week. Okay, other things. We're going to be doing a minor release. If you're a miner, stay tuned. There's going to be some big changes coming to the miner. It's going to be fun. We're going to talk to Krasi about that later today. Also, ETH Online is, I think it's done officially. Yeah, everybody had to submit. We were sponsors of ETH Online. I got to judge some of the projects this past weekend. It was really fun. Lots of great submissions out there, kind of from all over the globe, which was super cool. That, you know, which is different. It's part of the benefit of having kind of the remote hackathon. It's not just the people who can drive to the hackathon or pay for the plane ticket out there. Lots of submissions. Tellor, we had 9 people who submitted using Tellor. 9 people used the Tellor contracts in their submissions, and we're going to be kind of going through those this week, and we'll let you guys know. We're going to pick a winner as far as who did the best Tellor project, and we'll be reaching out to them, just kind of get feedback. You know, most of the hackathon projects, some hackathon projects will go on to become businesses or something like that, but especially since it was a remote hackathon, a lot of these are a lot of younger, kind of first time to the Ethereum space users, first time using Solidity. So we're just going to try and be as helpful as we can and kind of nurturing their journey into the decentralized world. So that said, it was really great kind of walking them through some things and talking to them about what it was like using Tellor. So yeah, hopefully, who knows? You know, we actually, for those that didn't know, whenever we were back in the days before Tellor, we were Daxia, and before Daxia, we were Decentralized Derivatives Association. And when we were Decentralized Derivatives Association, Brenda and I went to a hackathon in Washington, D.C. It was like a local hackathon, and we partnered up with a few developers we met there, and we were like, what should our idea be? And like, I had just seen the release of 0x Bitcoin, which did a proof of work implementation on Bitcoin. And I was like, oh, well, let's do a proof of work Oracle. And we built a proof of work Oracle at this hackathon. This was back in early 2018. And little did we know that, you know, the remnants of this proof of work Oracle would later, you know, a year later or year and a half later, sort of be what we're working on full time. So, you never know with these things. So we just want to sort of keep our eyes open on these people and just help them out as best we can, because, you know, that's how we kind of came into our own. Okay. And last kind of announcement, we'll be doing, I think Brenda's doing an interview tonight. So she's doing if you guys saw, I did a block down interview last week. I think that posted. I don't know if they actually went live with it or not yet. It was a good panel, and then they're interviewing Brenda as well. So stay tuned for that. And we also hit 10,000 Twitter followers. I know Mike usually announces the Twitter stuff, but Mike is not here today. So 10,000 Twitter followers, guys. We're like official Twitter kings. So anyway, yeah, that's all. I think that's everything. Brenda, if you have anything, feel free to add now. Anything? Okay. Okay, that's everything. And now, guys, we're going to introduce you guys to our newest employee, Krasi. Krasi, welcome.
Thank you. So maybe a little bit about myself to begin with.
We would love to hear that. Let us know.
Yeah, I do like extreme sports. I'm a big fan of open source software culture and the Golang programming language. I was, and I'm still one of the maintainers of very popular open source monitoring software. It's called Prometheus. I really hope somebody has heard of it, because it's one of the most popular ones. I'm also quite involved in the conservation technologies, in general, using technology to preserve wildlife, Raspberry Pi, LoRa, GPS, etc. I do this on the side, and I'm still new to the space, so I still have a lot to learn about blockchain culture and Solidity. But also, I think I also have a lot to offer from my open source experience as well. The way I ended up in the Tellor team is that I got into yield farming a few months ago, like probably many people these days. So I really like the dynamics and I decided I wanted to get involved. So here I am getting involved.
Yeah.
And one of the main reasons I decided to join the team is that the roadmap is to offer value above everything else, which is very close to the open source culture I'm used to. So that was one of the main selling points for me to join the team. And long story short, I will do my best to drive some great development into the project. I'm really motivated, really pumped.
Yeah, so thanks. You know, for those that don't know, Krasi, he didn't really mention it, but he is so we brought Krasi on. He's kind of an expert senior Golang developer. He's been building out really robust software, which focuses mainly on testing and monitoring, which is something that we want more of in Tellor. Kind of his experience fits really, it was really a big need that we had. And whenever we started talking to him, he was really eager to learn a lot of the newer Solidity stuff and some other pieces, which we have kind of the in-house team already. You know, we have a lot of Solidity experience, but then bringing on some of the more robust, just traditional software pieces was something that we wanted to do. So that's why we wanted to bring Krasi on, and he's been really eager to help out. He's going to be primarily working, at least at the beginning, on the miner. So if you are a Tellor miner, he's your guy. Reach out to him. Yeah, and yeah. So Krasi, if you can tell us, when was the first time you got into crypto, and what crypto do you own? We can ask.
I think I started with Uniswap. I was a liquidity provider, and I think it was the stable coins. I think everybody should start with stable coins just to reduce the risk. So it was the USDT, USDC pool.
What?
And
So
then,
you got into your first crypto. What was the first one that you bought? Like, how did you buy it, on Coinbase or something?
yeah, Coinbase, Ethereum, and then directly converted into USDC and got into Uniswap using MetaMask.
That's like the weirdest intro to crypto I've ever heard of.
Really?
No, everyone just wants to go long Ethereum or something. They don't want to go straight into the US dollar pegged stablecoin.
Yeah, but I have a friend that is quite involved, and he said it's 30% return. I did hold some in Ethereum, but then I thought, no, I wanted to get into the technical part. This is what interests me. It's not the actual arbitrage and like making money from changing on price, but the actual dynamics and the actual technicality of everything. So that's why I got into Uniswap, started reading the contracts, trying to understand how the mechanics work, because it was all new to me.
Well, for
And
somebody, sorry,
no, go ahead. That
for
was it.
somebody that likes extreme sports, you're quite risk averse. It's like, what? But it's okay. It's okay. Do
I
it.
think I balance extreme sports with not so extreme investment. I don't know.
Sure.
Listen.
And
But then
then,
I actually got into the extreme stuff like yield farming, Uniswap, all the crazy stuff that happened after that.
which one was the best for you? Which one was your
Uniswap
favorite?
and Sushi Swap.
Sushi Swap.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, because you just must have gotten really early then, and then
Yeah, one of the earliest.
did you run before the Twitter thing happened, or the dump?
Yeah, way before that.
Yeah.
And actually, I didn't dump when I heard about this because I was closely following, and I knew that things will get better because the team was good. And this is something I learned from the open source community. You don't look at the price, you look at the team behind it.
So what's kind of your opinion? So Sushi Swap's founder is supposedly anonymous. Do you have information as to who he is?
No idea at all.
Because the rumors that we had heard, you know, so if you had heard the rumors, it was Band Protocol was kind of behind Sushi Swap. to pump one of their, it was like, so Band Protocol is, you know, a pseudo competitor that to Tellor.
Right. But why would they dump it then?
I think he just made a bunch of money.
Right.
I think he cashed out. I don't think he dumped it. I think he he
Right.
retired. It's different. But
yeah, I mean, because of my investments, I started reading code, got involved into testing on Solidity, trying to look into security issues and things like this. And I decided, okay, I want to do this full time.
and what was kind of, so backing up, so first the question that people are going to obviously ask, where are you from? Like, and where?
I don't know. I've lived in many places.
Okay.
UK 12 years, Bulgaria another. I'm currently in Bulgaria, but I have lived in Portugal for 3-4 years. Just in Bulgaria, like 3 or 4 places.
Cool.
So I would say a citizen of the world, or Europe still.
Europe. Yeah. Cool. And then what was kind of your first open source project? When did you start kind of developing on those?
That's an interesting story. I was running my own business, an IT business in the UK, and I was stuck in an office. It was focused on hardware support and repairs, and I was stuck in an office. But what I really wanted to do is I wanted to travel. I wanted to be able to travel without being stuck in one place. So I decided, okay, I want to learn software. I looked into many different languages and then got involved into GitHub way back, like, I don't know, 10 years ago now. So I started looking on GitHub on different projects, started learning different languages, JavaScript, Java, PHP, and all that. But then I stumbled upon Golang, and most of the projects around Golang are open source. And I really like the idea that competitive companies can collaborate on the same software without any conflict of interest. And this is sort of like really attracted me into open source. And because I was attracted by this idea, I learned Golang. I started contributing to Docker, which is another open source project. And then I got an offer from Red Hat, IBM now, to work on this Prometheus project. So I didn't even apply at the time. I was just contributing to open source projects.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. And then one question I think we asked JG when he joined. If you obviously weren't working for Tellor, what's one thing, if you had the time and money, would you want to build software wise?
You should have asked me this before the meeting.
I know. I'm just putting you on the spot though.
One thing I would want to build. I don't know. Something that solves like real world problems. I can't define it more generically than this.
Okay.
But something to solve like a real problem. And this is another thing that I like about the DeFi and the blockchain culture is now everybody's trying to solve, to offer services and solve problems that the banks have been trying to solve and doing like millions of years, like few decades now. And they're trying to do it in the decentralized world. And I think this is one of the things that attracts me most, like trying to make things that are normally decentralized into centralized into decentralized services. But yeah, I will think about it. I will get back to you because I like to give a better answer than this.
Okay. Cool. Well, thanks, Krasi. Guys, if you guys have any questions for him, you can ask in the chat, or reach out. He's in our Telegram group. He's on GitHub. So, but yeah, now we'll answer questions. We can always, and Krasi, you can feel free to chime in on any of the questions. First question, have people forgotten about March 12th? Ethereum is not fail-proof. So this is in reference to the 50% price drop. I guess, I don't know. Thanks for your comment.
But was that because of the coronavirus? What happened in March?
March 12th, that was, so all crypto dropped by like 50% in one day. It was just a giant, like Tellor, it was slightly depressing for Tellor because like that weekend we had our first big run up. Like we doubled in price from like $4 to $8. And then March 12th hit and we dropped back down to $4. And like, it was like a 50% drop, but we were like, man, like
Yeah, but what happened?
yeah, we're like back to where we were a week ago. The big problems, so there were a lot of lessons that we learned March 12th. So March 12th was kind of one of the first days where gas prices on Ethereum just went crazy. A lot of oracles failed to update. So Maker's Oracle, Chainlink's Oracle, a lot of anytime people who were like automating trading strategies couldn't get things through. There was a lot of issues around those pieces that people were like, all right, maybe Ethereum isn't ready for prime time because these gas issues and just the whole network got clogged. And which, we tell people about all the time. Like if you're using an Oracle, just be prepared for Ethereum to basically shut down for 2 hours in times of massive price moves. So yeah, it's hopefully people continue to think about that. But I think it's going to be one of these things like it's going to take people a lot longer to actually build things that make sense. 1 or 2 lessons learned doesn't really teach people. Okay, next question. Should we think about yield farming / liquidity mining as a marketing budget? Perhaps it's being used incorrectly at the moment. Would it be better served as a tool to incentivize new signups, like in the early days of PayPal when they gave people $20 for joining? So my thoughts on this, I think that's how it should be looked at. I don't think it is looked at it like that. So I gave a talk on Liquidity 2020, kind of on the pros and cons of paying for early liquidity or yield farming. And the only time you should actually use it is to like basically bootstrap your network, try and get buzz about it. Other than that, like once it becomes just these profit-seeking people who will just come and join your protocol while they're making a return and leave as soon as they're not making a return, that doesn't do a whole lot because you're just basically paying for these people to come on your protocol and use it via inflation. Unless you can like structure a big raise of money or something to bootstrap you for the long term, it's not really worth it. But Krasi, I mean, how did you look at it whenever you jumped on? You didn't really look at it as a marketing tool. You looked at it as a profit opportunity, right?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's whenever it gets bad. Like if you're paying early supporters, like, thanks for using us, keep using us a little bit more. That's how you build a community and get people to keep using it more. If you incentivize a bunch of people to come on your protocol and use you to make money, and then they'll just basically dump you in the trash as soon as you're not paying them a yield farming budget, that's not sustainable. So yeah. Okay, next question. Is it fair to think of stablecoin issuers as bridges? I think
bridges to what?
Yeah, bridges to the real world, maybe. But you could also, I don't know. I mean, maybe some stable coins. I know some stable coins I think are on different chains, right? Like you could theoretically take like I think you could take like out a stable coin on one and then put a stable coin on another chain. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the question. Next question. Do you know Banteg, Twitter personality involved in Wi-Fi? So Banteg, or as we know him, is Artem. He was actually one of the early Tellor miners. He came on really early in Tellor. So like we launched in August 2019. He was like mining us in September. Him and Klim, they wrote some code. He wrote a Python library for accessing Tellor. And yeah, he was a big community member for a while. And then he disappeared he just like all of a sudden disappeared. And then 6 months later, I see him on Twitter as a personality in Wi-Fi. So that's all we know about him. he's yeah, I mean, good for him. He was definitely helpful with Tellor, and he found a cool way to make money with Wi-Fi. So that's all we know about him. As your initial plan, you guys were planning to hire 3 more devs and a business developer, and now we already have 3 devs. Any hint about the final guy? So I think Krasi's the final guy. I think this is the hint. We're done hiring for the moment. Krasi is the missing puzzle piece to the Tellor team.
Plus, he sends in a lot of PR, so I'm kidding.
Yeah,
It's great. It's great.
yes.
So I think we have enough for now.
Yeah. Yeah. Big hint today. Next one. Could you vampire attack the whole of Ethereum DeFi? Any idea what they mean? I don't know. Maybe it's reference to Halloween. I don't know. If you're here, ask in the chat.
SushiSwap applied this strategy to the vampire. It was called the vampire attack, no? Where they attracted a lot of liquidity from Uniswap. But there was an article about this, but I don't think it has anything to do with the oracles.
The questions don't necessarily have anything to do with oracles. So.
Oh, okay.
They're asking about Ethereum DeFi.
So what's a vampire attack, Krasi?
It's where you use a strategy to move liquidity from one project onto another, and this is what SushiSwap did. They moved a lot of liquidity from Uniswap into their protocol, although it's exactly the same, just by changing it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I think a lot of people if it's whenever you're using these inflationary rewards. So basically you're printing tokens to do yield farming or something. If Uniswap has it and then SushiSwap copies Uniswap's code and makes it, but now we're going to be minting twice as much. And then people should theoretically go to SushiSwap. But the problem is that it's like a race to the bottom. Whereas really, really quickly, all of a sudden you have 5,000% inflation in your protocol, and it makes 0 sense because nobody's going to hold these things for any period of time, and the token's worthless. So I think you're going to have these stages where if people are doing these, if the tokens of these sushi swaps or anything hold any value, which they shouldn't, that's the problem, because you shouldn't be able to vampire attack it, because it'll quickly lead to one of these scenarios where people are just minting crazy amounts to get you into their protocol. And but yeah, I mean, ultimately it's just the investors that get screwed. Okay, next question. Did Uniswap volume only really take off after yield farming trend began? Not even yield farming of the Uni token, but yield farming of other coins which were on Uniswap, e.g. SNX is Uniswap's liquidity incentive scheme. Krasi?
No, I don't understand. Can you repeat it again?
So they asked basically, why is Uniswap so popular? Is it only because of yield farming? Basically, one of the early people who provided rewards was Synthetic. So Synthetic said they gave rewards for people who posted Uniswap liquidity.
I think my personal opinion is most of it is hype. I mean, Wi-Fi started very good. They do actually provide some value to the token they were minting, and because it went crazy, the price went so high, and I think this hype transferred into all of these additional yield farming strategies where people didn't even care if the token would have any value after all, and they just jumped and bought crazy, and this drove the price up, and many people made money, but most of the people that invested early just lost money, because obviously once you realize what's the actual cost of the token, what's the actual value of the token, then you realize, okay, it's not worth that much. So the price goes down. That's my personal opinion from very small experience in the DeFi. So
yeah, I mean, my thoughts, I think Uniswap volume, so it took off a little bit because of yield farming. So I think the Uni token sale had a big portion of it, because if you see, I think the Uni token sale leaked to a bunch of insiders, because you see like a month before the Uni token drop, the volume on Uniswap just skyrockets. So somebody knew it was coming. But I think, yield farming definitely pushed a lot of things there. But I think the bigger story for kind of DEXs in general, and DEXs and also Uniswap, is just the whole crackdown in this centralized exchange space. So it's very, very hard to trade tokens without doing KYC AML at the moment. There's been a big crackdown on a lot of these exchanges, and I think it's pushed a lot more people over to decentralized exchanges. And also people have said shitcoins are dead, but Uniswap trades a lot of shit tokens. If you want basically to trade your coin on an exchange, you either have to go pay a centralized exchange money, or a lot of decentralized exchanges, you even have to pay them money to actually get them to list your coin. Uniswap doesn't make you do that. And it's kind of straightforward and easy. So I think that's a big thing. And as long as there's a little bit of that regulatory arbitrage, I think there is a play for like truly open decentralized exchanges. So anyway, somebody asked, how's the ETH Online hackathon going? It went very well. Thank you for asking. Next, somebody says, regarding the survey, so I'm guessing they're talking about the developer survey, I'm strongly in favor of vertical products getting priority. Everything else amounts to procrastination or perfectionism with lower probabilities of driving usage. The most important thing. If Tellor built retail-facing stuff, it could be the next Wi-Fi. And with those resources, you could hire an army of devs. Tellor's story arc began with building DeFi apps. It feels right to bring things full circle, go for the gold. Thank you for your comment. So yeah, no, I think vertical products are definitely on our, people saw that as an option. And yeah, I think it's important that we do get some things there. There's always, you want to build things that have some retail facing pieces. Kind of the more retail facing you are in crypto, you have, it's like different problems. You have a bunch of regulatory issues. You have a bunch of, you kind of have other issues when it comes to just trying to get users and who actual users are. Because like with Tellor, the user of Tellor, for instance, is a developer. It's going to be somebody who's building a DeFi project. That user is actually very, very different than someone who uses Uniswap, or even more so, somebody who say just wants to deposit a coin for a return in a yield farming app. Those are very different kind of customers, and they require different kind of marketing strategies and different, I guess, just people to grab them and hold them. So we hear you, and yeah, we'll be kind of working on those things. Hopefully soon we'll put out some announcements on what we'll be doing next. Oh, good one. Did you send out the recent survey to settle an internal team dispute regarding what priority should be going forward? Brenda?
No. No. We don't settle disputes that way in Tellor. We just,
Sword battles. This is...
Yeah, sword battles in the office on Wednesdays.
Yeah. So... Okay, and then somebody said, why isn't the dispute section of Tellor Scan showing anything? And yeah, I think this is the person who probably messaged me yesterday about it. I'm working on fixing it, so we'll have that up. Anyway, that's actually it for the questions. Thank you, everything. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Mike could not be here, but he sends his regards. We will talk to you guys next week. Thanks for coming.
And welcome, Krasi.
All right, see you.